will have from the head of security that the owner of car number NR 991118 kindly reach the security detail outside. NR 991118. If you could kindly relocate. This is urgent.
I mean, so, Margaret, if you look at Dr. Bawumia's political career, in 2008, he was chosen by the then candidate, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and they went into competition with the late President John. And as somebody once put it, that his voice was breaking at the time, finding his feet in politics. 16 years down the line, he worked as a running mate for the President of the Republic, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, did you see this day coming?
You know, Ishra, very good afternoon to you, and very good afternoon to yourself and Omaro. And really to state that today is a very, very important day for the new 8 when the Vice President now was picked up by the then candidate Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to become the running mate. You will recall that he was the then Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, which is a role he came in his 40s. For a young person to abandon a career in banking, one of the greatest economists that I have considered, especially in the millennium, which clearly means that he had a future in mind. And so I did see this day coming. He has stood the test of time from 2008 as a running mate, lost the 2008 election, went into preparation, came back again in 2012, lost the 2012 election as running mate. Now he abandoned everything that he was doing because at the time you recall that he was sent to Zimbabwe, where he became the Africa Development Bank representative to rebound the economy of Zimbabwe back after President Mugabe. And the economy of Zimbabwe was totally crippled. Yeah. I recall working in Zimbabwe in the very early 2000s as a Christian missionary. And at the time, I used to buy one loaf of bread for 1 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. Yeah. I mean, and so for a young man to rebound the economy of Zimbabwe back is extremely remarkable. In the 2012 election, he lost the election. Then we saw trial reforms as we have it today. And we have the famous quote that he says that you and I were not there. He made us aware that elections are won at a polling station. He became an admiration for many, 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 many politicians. And then he came into the 2016 election, assisted the president again, and won overwhelmingly. The numbers that we had in the northern region is proof to show that Alhaji Dr. Bawumia at the time of 2016 had worked significantly hard from 2008 to date. I did see this day coming. I'm very excited for the new patriotic party. I'm very excited for Alhaji Dr. Bawumia, Republicans with Alhaji Dr. Bawumia. Today is a very important day for Ghana and for the new patriotic party.
Indeed,
today is a very
important today is a very important day.
And for the new
16
patriotic
years
party.
is a long time to nurture an ambition and to see the party overwhelmingly give him the nod to be the flag. First of all, this is the first time that we're having an individual of northern extraction being a flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Secondly, this is the first time we're having a flag bearer of the new patriotic party. That's not a lawyer.
That's true.
Body of 2016, he had a series of lectures, and he spoke extensively about the economy and how we needed to change things to make it work. But now, today, we're expecting him to speak and share his vision. Now, you recall, soon after his election as the flag bearer, he made a very profound statement that I am my own man. I have my own vision for this country. In Ghana, where do you think his focus is likely to be placed?
Well, so,
where do you think his focus is likely
when
to be
someone
placed?
says I'm my own? It reminds me of when someone John Evans Atta Mills. He was handpicked by Jerry John Rawlings and made the vice president. We do remember what happened between Rawlings and Ekwelton Senaka, you know, in the disagreement there. Now, subsequently, Rawlings brings in Professor John Evans Atta Mills as his running mate and eventually became the vice president. When he becomes the vice president, he works for the Jerry John Rawlings that we know. Rawlings was a very charismatic man, a very strong man. So for the 8 years that the NDC was in opposition, Rawlings was the guy who was the face of the party, even though John Mills was the flag bearer. However, when, in fact, I remember very, very vividly when the Chronicle published and said that Atta Mills was going to be a poodle of Jerry John Rawlings, and that conversation, that word became a big issue at the time when Kofi Komsin Chronicle did that publication. Mills having become president, had to disentangle himself from Rawlings and become a man of his own. He didn't do it in an offensive manner, but you have to do it in a tactful manner. And even with that, we saw what happened. Tag that Mills received. I am juxtaposing this with Dr. Bawumia. He was a nobody, quote and unquote, politically speaking. When Nana Akufo-Addo brought him and said, this is going to be my running mate. In fact, we do know the resistance that Bawumia faced in the new patriotic party. People said, Bawo who? Essentially saying, who the hell is this guy that you have gone to bring to come and be your running mate? As for when the NPP lost the elections of 2008, lost 2012, and then won 2016. Over that 8 years in the wilderness, Dr. Bawumia graduated from being the unknown NPP guy, the banker somewhere, to becoming a force to reckon with in election 2016. We do remember what he happened or what he did in 2016. That campaign rested largely on his shoulders and indeed on his spouse. So, and it is I can execute. So it was the early signs of what he can do. Subsequently, the NPP wins that election. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo becomes president, and we know that the economy was a big issue. Dr. Bawumia, I remember having covered all the lectures that he did at the Central University College at Miocho on the at Miocho on the Pram Road at the time.
Only sits in a seat designated to you. We are requesting members of parliament to move to the left of the stage.
Many anum central for Ekukudam, Miensa Ekameho ha, many one Eba Bedi and Komo all the way from Kumasi, Senior Kwame Dinkra Ewa, Senior Kwabana to say, Yamana de Mafishapa, Avipapa Cometry, Senior, opposite Moritai, Yasenko. Medase was one of us. A queer Buachua Iadom. A
difficult one.
Nice.
But he has dealt with them. Played the Yesa Masa role in a very, very good way. Played the good boy role in a very, very wonderful way. Played the role of a planqué. Played the role of a mate, a driver's mate.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your very own monster unadapted mind, where monsters teach you math.
The views or the choices were very much there. The world, the Alan Chemantis of this world. I mean, so many people, the Captain of this world, Ali Muhammad's name, all of these people were there. A certain Bawumia was left somewhere in the Bank of Ghana. Nobody thought he was going to be eventually the flag bearer. But having served his master so well, and following the proverb of Africa that says, if you know how to wash your hands, you dine with the master. You have a Bawumia graduate eventually to become a flag bearer. The first one to do so for the NPP, and the first economist, like you said.
To ensure that there's orderliness.
That when he holds the flag of the NPP, he's going to be a man.
We are planting for food and jobs, sir.
The first test of whether or not Bawumia is a big challenge. He is ahead of to the checkpoint, the police
That's why we bow. Oh, God, great, strong and
Mabai mu ti bi a mabai mu sewie kwana sure ese se sure
Swami interchanges
Masfo efe Adiatie efa Honorable Akwasi Amagwata Honorable Akwasi ebe promise 5 interchanges ebe promise 5 interchanges ene hu makura o ene hu makura Sade we said Dr
even 2004 and 2008. And there should be practical policies. There should be practical to convince the people.